How are we doing?
Depressed.
Yeah.
Sometimes, birders do seemingly crazy things in an effort to see a particular species. While in Arizona, me and my friend Nathaniel decided to do a stakeout to try to see an incredibly patterned bird called a Montezuma quail. Seemingly every day they had been coming to the feeding station at the Ash Canyon Bird Sanctuary to drink from a small pond. We had never seen one before, and it seemed like a sure thing as long as we were there when they showed up. To maximize our chances, we decided we were going to stay as long as it took to see one. Not knowing what we would be in for, we made our way to Ash Canyon in the morning, tired but optimistic at our chances of seeing this bird. We are on our way to the Montezuma quail spot, and I feel like this is probably not going to be the most exciting because one of the things we have to do is be super, super quiet. So we can't really talk a lot about what's going on, so it'll kind of just be like waiting until we hear them and then hopefully see them. They've been coming into this area where there's water, and it seems like sometimes they come in really early, sometimes it takes them a while, but it does seem like they will normally be heard or seen at some point. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to get them, we just don't know how long it's going to take. We arrived at Ash Canyon and mentally prepared ourselves for the quest ahead.
We just arrived. There's other people here. We're going to enter mute mode, be as quiet as possible. So hopefully these quail will then feel comfortable coming in and hanging out with us.
We positioned ourselves in some chairs next to a blind where some other birders were already waiting. They hadn't seen the quail yet, so we at least knew we hadn't missed them earlier. The view was absolutely incredible, and there was plenty of wildlife to observe while we waited. One of the stars of the show was the Mexican jays, which are blue and gray with a lighter underside. They can be found in select southwestern states and further south into Mexico. Mexican jays are often seen in pine oak juniper woodlands, where they forage during the day. They feed on acorns, pine nuts, insects, small vertebrates, and more. As time went on, we continued seeing the same species over and over, occasionally adding a new one, but no quail. About 3 hours after arriving, the morning window passed, which seemed like our best chance. We needed a break from waiting, so we decided to look for another bird we had never seen before that was just down the road, while also picking up some food.
We're going to move on and look for a rufous winged sparrow that's about 20 minutes away. It's a little bit of a gamble leaving the stakeout, but it's kind of demoralizing. You're just sitting there seeing the same things, not seeing what you're looking for. So I think we need a little break to go do something and then come back, and hopefully our luck will change.
The sparrows were seen on the roadside by a few houses. We arrived in the area, looked and listened, and spotted a lot of movement up in a tree. It turned out to be a great horned owl, which was a cool find during the day. After talking with a questionable homeowner and moving down the road a bit, we were able to clearly hear and see our target bird.
After a little bit of work, we were able to get some rufous winged sparrows singing. They're really singing nice and loud right now. We also had a great horned owl. It's kind of like an more urban area, it's more neighborhood than open country. And there was a homeowner that came out further down the road, and her dog came out. She's like, "Whoa, why are you doing with my dog?" And we're like, "Your dog came out to us." So we moved down further, and I think that actually helped us find the bird. So it's sitting on a fence right now, just singing its heart out.
The rufous-winged sparrow has a long tail, rufous head stripes and eyeline, along with a rusty wing patch. They are found year-round in southern Arizona and further south into Mexico, favoring desert thorn scrub habitats. Rufous-winged sparrows mate for life, and start breeding based on the first rainfall of the summer. Nests are built in trees or shrubs and are often visible. Rufous-winged sparrows feed mostly on seeds, arachnids, and insects. In the breeding season, males can be heard vocalizing throughout the day. Satisfied with our sparrow views, we had one more surprise bird on the way out.
Just had a little covey of Gambel's quail. So we saw a quail. It's not the one we're looking for, but always a treat to see those. How you feeling about our sparrow and our Gambel's quail?
Good. Life for a rufous wing was always nice.
I'm glad that even though we haven't seen the Montezuma yet, we could still get something new.
Yeah, there's still time.
Did you need a stakeout break?
Yes, I did.
After a successful adventure, we returned to our stakeout spot, with reports the quail hadn't shown up while we were away.
Alright, we're back for the quail stakeout part 2 now. Hopefully we'll have better luck.
As we walked in, we stopped by the hummingbird feeders, and we were able to see some of the species we came to see the last time we were at Ash Canyon, including the beautiful Lucifer hummingbird and the rare plain-capped starthroat. We sat back down for our stakeout, attracting attention from the local insects, and did see some more interesting species while we waited. Unfortunately, none of these new birds were Montezuma quail.
This is brutal. We've been here like 5 hours. We haven't even heard a Montezuma. The people that were here with us have given up. So now we are in the front row, but we are not seeing Montezumas. It's really beautiful to look at. It just kind of like drains you to be waiting for something that doesn't happen.
In order to renew our spirits and stretch our legs, we decided to make another stop for food before coming back for our next stakeout stretch. On the way in, we stopped to pay attention to a unique southwestern species.
We ended up going to get food and then coming back, so we're feeling a little bit refreshed. Someone told us maybe around 4 the quail would come by, so we're going to try that. Had some nice views of bridled titmice, which was pretty cool. That was probably the best views we've had all trip.
The bridled titmouse is a cute small bird with a gray olive back, tan stomach, and boldly patterned head with black and white markings and a peaked crown. Their range extends into the southwestern United States, down into Mexico, and they are often seen in areas with oaks, pines, and junipers. Bridled titmice feed on mostly insects and arachnids, sometimes hanging upside down to find the best bugs. Nesting occurs in cavities, and in addition to the parents, there are often one or more other bridled titmice that help to raise the young. Although it wasn't a new bird for Nathaniel or I, it was a morale boost to get to observe these adorable birds. Feeling slightly re-energized, we sat back at our stakeout location, getting some nice views of a brilliantly colored western bunting species before the weather started to turn on us.
How are we doing?
Depressed.
Yeah. So it seems like it may just storm on us. There's like lightning over in the mountains. And there's no quail. We haven't even heard one the whole day. They've been reported, at least some kind of evidence of them, like the last couple days. Everybody else left for the most part. So we had different groups come by, try their luck, and we are the last survivors of the quail watch. So I really hope it pays off. I don't know about this, Nathaniel.
Now it's just hardcore pouring on us, like... Oh, jeez. We're like under a thing, it is blowing sideways.
Cleared up a little bit. It looks like the birds are starting to kind of come out again. So could this be the key to our success, the storm, bringing in the quail? Could it? No. No. Thanks, Mr. Positivity. I was telling Nathaniel, I feel like we've stared at this so long that I could paint it from memory. Like we know where everything hangs out. We're like, that's where the curve-billed thrasher is. Sometimes a ladderback woodpecker comes to this tree. But like at the start, you would just picture like, you know, quail, little Montezuma quail popping through the bushes. And now like, I can't even picture it. I feel like if it did happen, it'd be like some kind of dream. But this is definitely like doing the stakeout takes a lot out of you. I definitely prefer to be up and searching for stuff. It's a soul crusher. How do you feel?
Terrible. Other than the rufous-winged sparrow.
It's the silver lining.
It is. It is. It's the only hope of the day.
As the sun set, we had to come to terms with the fact that our chances of seeing the Montezuma quail were likely over.
The sun has crossed down behind the mountains, and I feel like that signals the end of our chances for Montezuma quail. So we started at like 6:45 this morning, and it's about 7:30. We took like an hour and 45 minutes for breaks, going out for lunch and then dinner. So we've been here looking for this quail, staking the spot out for like 11 hours. That's just a brutal miss. Really hurts. It's tough when you like have so much hope at the start of the day and then it just like slowly plummets. But I think we gotta call this one. So this is definitely a nemesis bird for Nathaniel and I now.
On the way back to Tucson, we stopped on a sketchy side road to see if we could find any nocturnal species, and ended up hearing our lifer common porwheel, which at least helped morale a little bit. Overall, it was a tough day spending 11 hours waiting for Montezuma quail that never showed up. It just goes to show that you can look at the data, create what seems to be a foolproof plan, and still not have the birds cooperate. The silver lining for the day was the 2 lifers, and to use a fishing saying for birding, a bad day of birding is better than a good day at work. Have you ever done an all-day bird stakeout? Let us know in the comments below, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Badgerland Birding.